Hello land of YouTube, how's everybody doing today? My name's Ann, I'm from Philadelphia, PA, and today is May 18th, 2019. The only reason I know that is because tomorrow is my sister's birthday, which is May 19th, and her birthday this year falls on a Sunday. Today I would like to share with you some of my weird yarn hacks or yarn tricks, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. The first thing I do when I figure out a project that I want to complete is to either ball up the yarn or cake it up. I do have a ball winder. It's not the greatest, but it works. So this, to get out any knots or yarn barf that might happen when you're working on a project. So this ball of yarn, this is Stitch Studio by Nicole. It's an AC Moore brand. It's Studio Classic line. It's very much like Red Heart with Love. You get 270 or 372 yards in each ball for solids and 260 for variegated or the tweed. This ball had a knot in it, so either I cut it out or I try to undo the knot, and then I just make two little cakes with it, because I hate when I come across a knot in knitting or crocheting, and then it just like ruins my whole project. It doesn't ruin it, but I have to kind of work backwards a little bit, so I'd rather just get all the problem areas out of the yarn before I start. The next thing I like to do when knitting a project is use stitch markers. This is a baby blanket I'm working on, and since it's basically a knit and purl pattern, I use stitch markers in between where the knit and the purls have to be. And it's easier on the eye because I don't have to think about what comes next. That's what it looks like. I'm about 10 rows from being finished this blanket. So maybe by the time I make my next video, that will be finished and I could share that with you, what the finished product would look like. I also use stitch markers about every 20 stitches, and this is another blanket I'm working on, and when I make a mistake it's much easier to go back. I don't have to rip out the whole row. I could just rip out those stitches and work from there. So I'm only working back until the last stitch marker. And then the next thing I like to do is work from the outside of the cake or ball. And if it's a self-striping yarn of cake, I usually work, so the last color in this ball is green. It's like a Kelly green. And so I'll start with, when I'm finished this ball, I'll look for a cake that will have that color green on the outside. This ball is actually brown. That was my last color of my last cake, is the light brown. I guess it's like a tan color, but the colorway is pistachio fudge carrot cake. And the next thing I like to do when I'm crocheting is crochet right over the ends when adding a new color or ball of yarn to a project. I add it on just like you would any other ball of yarn, but then I crochet over the ends as I'm working for about 10 stitches. and it makes it much easier to tie in the ends at the end. Either you could cut them off or tie them, make sure they're secure by weaving in the ends again. And the last thing I like to do when working on a project is writing out the pattern on loose leaf or scrap paper and crossing off the rows as I go. Some of this might be tedious, but these are the things that really help me. So this is just an example of, this is actually the pattern for the baby blanket, but I just write down the numbers of the rows and then cross them off as I go. And it's much easier to know what row I'm on because I see it on paper versus a stitch counter. That's it. I hope you enjoy this video. If you have any tips from me, leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear your tips and tricks for knitting and crocheting. I hope everybody has a great day. Bye.